visual. I see it all.
What's good, my people? This is Visual. You're tuned in to IC Web 3. Today we're going to ask a dev. I got the homies Pacman, Metaverse Josh, and the young homie William will be joining us later on as he's in Thailand and he's only 11 years old. So he's got to get his sleep and he's going to be waking up at, I believe it's going to be 8 a.m. for him. So I'm excited about that, but let's get right into this, y'all. So I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Visual. I'm a music artist, entrepreneur, and community builder. I got so many titles. If you know me, you know me. If you don't, you will. Trust it. I got Pacman with me, got Metaverse Josh. Let's get into these introductions. Then we're going to get into some conversation, and I definitely need y'all that are listening in to pop in, ask your questions, join the conversation. We'll get into that about the second half of this talk that we'll be having. So Pacman, why don't you go ahead and tell the people who you are, what you're about.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on, Visual. I appreciate that. So basically, I've done a lot of different types of jobs for a lot of different types of companies. I've worked for the military sector and I've worked for, civilian sector as well. I've always had an interest in technology. I've been playing video games since way back in the day. A lot of things that I really enjoy is how the Web3 space is growing with that gaming type of culture and like a more inclusive and everybody can play these types of things. So super love having a lot of the technology stuff here on the forefront and we get to sort of build that community around it. I mean, you talk about being a community builder. Yeah, I'm one of those too. So just spreading good vibes and that's kind of who I am. Yep.
Love it. Yes, sir. Josh, what's good? Introduce yourself to the people.
Hello. My name is Josh. I have been, Hernandez, because I'm fully kind of docs kind of guy. I've been building since Web 1, man. Like late 90s, music community stuff. Basically, we had an electronic music community called sectionz.com. That was the Fruity Loops community and the electronic music community all rolled up into one. I've done video games, I've published them, sold them, designed them, produced them. I've raised money, sold companies, failed companies here in Chicago. I've worked with a lot of people in the space, done all sorts of stuff, but I've never seen anything as amazing as Web3, and that's what I'm here for.
That's great. I'm happy to have you in here, Josh. And I see William was able to make it in here with us early. William, what's up? Introduce yourself to the people.
Hey, yeah, it's very early here actually. Yeah, it's very early morning and it's pretty cold. But yeah, I'm here.
You're here, my friend. Why don't you tell them who you are, what you're about, and the things that you do on Web3?
Yeah, so hi to everyone. My name is William. I'm from Thailand. I'm half Italian, half Thai. And yeah, I've been in the crypto for about a few years now, in the NFT world for about 7 months. And I'm 11 and I can code many languages like Python, JavaScript, HTML, and also Solidity. And yeah, I enjoy coding and marketing and also hosting Twitter spaces.
Love it. We're excited to have you here with him. So like I said earlier, my people, when I first introduced myself, we're going to go and have a conversation with these gentlemen here, talk a little bit about some tech stuff and a couple little random questions I'm going to throw at them. We'll have some fun with it as well. And then I definitely want to have you guys come up, speak. If you have any insight or if you have any questions, please, that's definitely what I want going on today. So don't be discouraged. Don't think your question is not going to be the right one, because all questions are great questions. Trust it. That's how we all learn in this space, especially. So let's start off here. William, let's start with this. And I'm going to give this one to each of you. William, why don't you tell me how it is that you first decided to get into technology in the first place? Obviously, you're very young right now, but I know that you started even younger, you know, because you're 11. I believe from our conversations, you started at about 6 or 7. So I want to know what it is that got you into technology in the first place and the things that you're doing now. What led up to what you're doing now in Web3?
Yeah, so yeah, it started from when I was 6 or 7. I wanted to make video games because I love drawing. I was drawing all day at school. I wasn't learning much. So I wanted to bring my drawings to life. So I started learning language. First, I started learning Scratch. It was just simple drag and drop these coding blocks. And yeah, then I started learning coding languages. And I made my first game. And yeah, it took me a few years to learn those languages. But then I found out about the NFT world and the crypto world, so I decided to hop in, and that's when I started learning Solidity. And a few years gone by very fast, and yeah, I know a lot now. But I'm not a full stack developer yet. And yeah, I've been recently working on a website which looks actually really cool, and I'm coding it in JavaScript.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. I love to hear that. And for everybody listening in, you know, I have a podcast as well, and I interviewed William, and I just wanted to point out that, you know, his age is it just continues to it just shocks me, you know, that he's this deep into what he's doing, and he's already been doing it for a few years. And one thing I wanted to point out that he said in the interview that really stood out to me is that he wanted everybody to learn what they're going to be doing in life at 10 years old. He thinks that that's what we should be doing instead of waiting until we're like 20, 25. And that just blew my mind that this 11-year-old kid that I'm interviewing said that. And that's just what I just wanted to point that out to let you guys know, like, this is the type of young man that we're talking to. And I love it. I love his mindset. I love the way he's thinking. And that's amazing. Let's get into Josh. Josh, what's good, man? Tell us about your journey in tech in general, man. Like, how did you first get into technology, and what's led you to where you are now in tech?
So if I could add, you know, in terms of William's experience, we all had these dreams and these things as children, and we all have a lot of nostalgia about these things. We didn't have the tools that exist today to take action so fucking quickly and decisively on stuff. And native creators that are given the space to be themselves and the respect of spaces like this to include someone so young, it's going to only get crazier, because frankly, creativity is the last thing that humans will ever have total control over, right? Like, we can get into that, but my journey starts a lot like Williams, except that my tools then were a soldering kit and you know, Nintendo Entertainment Systems, Ataris, and stuff like that. And I just, like, you know, hack them and fuck with them and break them and do different things with them, but with the explicit goal of getting the audio out, because I was obsessed with the sound that was coming out of the Nintendo Entertainment System, and specifically, and then that just graduated to you know, me recording hundreds of soundtracks from video games that I would rent or steal or borrow and so I could have all these soundtracks. But it began there, like with William. I wanted to bring characters and things to life. I was doing comic books with my friends, drawing and all that, and I go to art school, La Escuela de Artes Plásticas en Puerto Rico, San Juan, Puerto Rico, for a little bit. Do a lot of drugs, do a lot of art, and eventually, like, land a scholarship to go to the School of the Art Institute of Chicago. And I come here and just absolutely fall in love with a lot of different girls, and then over time I eventually marry one, stay here, and you know, I'm on my second marriage, with 2 children living in the suburbs, and I have done so many startups, all based around music and entertainment and video games and all that stuff. But it began just needing to scratch that itch. I could be here for 30 minutes talking about, all the different companies and all the different ideas that have come through these hands. But I hope that tonight, through practical conversation, some of that gets put out there, and I'm absolutely here to just show, I don't know, just a more innovative side of what's possible with Web3 and NFTs, and a little bit more out of the mainstream conversations that you hear out there. So hoping to contribute.
100%, man. Excited to get all these things out there, man. I know you got a lot of dope stuff that you're working on, man, and I'm very excited to hear more about it. Hopefully you can share some of it tonight with everybody. But regardless, I know we'll see it over time. Pacman, what's good, man? Tell us about your journey in tech, how things kind of got started with you, and how it took you to where you are now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so I'm a little bit older. I'm 38, and I started with technology way back in the day. I was very fortunate enough to have a Commodore 64. I had Apple IIe, I had the Atari, I had Pong, the original stuff as it was coming out. I was very fortunate to have those things. And I think part of it was kind of because I had a split home. So dad would buy with, affection for dollars or whatever. And that's kind of how we were shown love sometimes. And it's okay, well, now that I got this machine, what can I do with it? And then sometimes what we would do is we would go, when he'd have me on the weekends, we'd go out to dumpsters for computer stores, and we would dive in those dumpsters and get whatever was in there for free. You know what I'm saying? So they would throw away stuff that they didn't even know what was good or what was bad. They throw away product manuals, keys, whatever you could possibly imagine. Companies didn't know about this stuff. So I'd be diving in there, dad'd be like, hey, you're small, you can fit in there, go see what we can get out of there, right? And it was bonding time though that we had together. And so we would, just work on that stuff. And if I built something cool, if I didn't do it and it broke, that's cool too, because I didn't pay anything for it. So a lot of what I did, it was just reading the manual. That's the number one rule. So I was always knowing as soon as I jumped in that dumpster, oh, okay, well, these are good to go. Let me grab all this and that. So I kind of started there, I guess, at the beginning in DOS and learning basic coding. I taught my computer how to talk, so that was a really cool thing to mess around with the sound. You were talking about the sound earlier, so you would program it phonetically. It was weird, but you could do it, and it was fun. So I just kind of kept progressing, and I stayed in IT type stuff through high school, and then I joined the military, and they had me fixing I was doing nav radar stuff on a Unix box. So it was basically, still understanding the programming language between that on this proprietary system to test stuff for planes, Harriers, helicopters, that kind of stuff. Moving over, I went over to call center type management. So I helped to roll out the Verizon Fios network across the US. And during that, I was also in tech support. So I helped to build the call centers, rebuilt the entire framework of everything. So we restructured from copper to fiber, and I got to help lead that effort from every step of the way, from tech support, sales, the customer experience, self-installs. So I know what's possible with technology and working with some of these companies, and some of how these reach are, so that was military, and then seeing it on the other side. And then I went to work for a co-op type company where that was no budget type tech support. So going from Verizon to this other one, and then I worked for LG for a little bit too. So just technology all over the place. And now I'm kind of starting my own company where I'm doing education. And William, I heard you said you were talking about NFT Worlds. I hope that's the Minecraft one, right? Because that's what I'm building on, and that's fun, man. So I guess games kind of got me into it, and then I just found a passion, bonding with family and stuff like that. And that's kind of what I did with my kids too. Like I helped them build their first computers, and that's how we stay. Like I have two kids, but they're in a different state, so we stay connected through video games, through whatever, and technology. So that's what we're doing. We're gonna bring this, redistribute the wealth and try to talk about passive income just by playing games, so you can be back with your families. Like that's really what it should be about. You should be enjoying the things that we're creating, not so much the other way around where I have to go away from people. Like we should be more together, and that's what these games are all about.
How about we absolutely get algorithms that don't make people fight? That'd be kind of cool.
Man, that's real. That's real. You know what I love, man, that the theme that I'm seeing from the three of you is games. You know, the fact that I think we've all in somehow connected to, I've heard, Nintendo mentioning Atari and Pong, and I'm just like, wow, man, that's old school, man. That's old school. And from talking to William, I know he's big on Minecraft and Roblox, and those are things that he messes with. And I know that one thing that definitely attracted him to that is the fact that he's almost like able to build within the game. And that just told me right away, like this kid's on another level. It's so great to be able to have those type of games now. And I feel like they always were that way, right? They always were like, you were kind of building something, or you want some sort of mission, you were solving a problem. And I think that's what's cool about it, man. And that's what, a lot of the things that we're doing in Web3 right now, at least from my perspective, someone that's not, able to help anybody in the tech sense at all. That's how I see it, and I think that's cool because it's fun and it's exciting, and there's lots of ways that you could make things like Pacman mentioned, like things like financial literacy and education, which I'm heavy on. You could turn those into games somehow, and people could have fun while they're learning and even earning at the same time. So I really love that. I love to hear that from the three of you. Gentlemen, I want to ask you this: do you guys ever get frustrated with people that are not as aware of technology as you are? Let's go with Josh first on that one.
Oh man, it's depressing actually. But at the same time, that's what really makes good product people, right? Folks that can stop and listen to what it is that folks need and want. And sometimes the way that they want things isn't necessarily what you want or the best way, but it's about listening to that. I wanted to just go back to the games point a little bit here because, frankly, gamification has been around for a minute now. I remember the first time I said it was to one of the vice presidents of Playboy here in Chicago, and he eventually became he was part of the venture side, and he eventually went to Groupon and invested in a bunch of stuff there, and now he's running another fund. But the idea of it being native to us to learn via play is something that technology has really enabled, and now currencies in Web3 make really a simple value proposition for these things to be monetized. So everything will be to earn in some way, shape, or form, just like everything is to earn now, unless you're wasting your time at the end of the day. But the idea that you can do that directly and quickly is where it's at. But I want to step back even further than that and even talk about it as a very natural thing for humans to do, to the point where, we're classified as Homo sapien, right? As seekers of knowledge and wisdom and that kind of stuff. But that's all bullshit. We're really about play. We're Homo ludens. We're really about, like, even in the worst of times, finding ways to have fun. Like, look at the way the military works. I'm a military brat myself. I'm sure Pacman can back this up. But war games and all this fucking inter-social play between soldiers and all the camaraderie stuff, like, it's all just kind of built in. And now we have a nexus of all of these things. We have the idea that we are natural gamers and natural players. We have the idea of technology now making us the money. And we have the idea of, like, creators now finally being able to control with complete and total provenance and even interface eventually through NFTs, their content and their IP. So we have a situation now where folks don't even understand how fundamental of a shift this is for how technology is going to be built, both from a utility perspective and an experience perspective. Like, there's going to be more throwaway software and stuff in this age than there were garbage websites in Web 1 that I miss so fucking much. All that variation and craziness. But anyway, I just wanted to add that because that's an important part of this when we talk about development, because frankly, developing games is fucking hard. So I want to make sure that we keep that at the top of our minds.
That's what's up, man. I love that. That's the truth. That's the truth, man. I don't know much about it, but I know I've seen, people that delve into it and even talk to me about it, and I'm just like, yo, I don't know what you were talking about. So I feel you on that. I respect that highly. William, I want to know, man, how do you deal with people that aren't as tech aware as you? Do you get frustrated by them, or how do you approach that, William?
Well, yeah, I don't really know that kind of feeling since I haven't talked with my friends for about 3 years now. About 1 or 2 years, I haven't talked with friends and haven't been haven't been to school for 1 or 2 years now. So I don't know that feeling anymore. So I don't remember at all.
So renegade right here.
This guy's a rebel. I'm telling you, man, this kid is the truth. This kid is the truth. I love it, William. I'm telling you, every time I talk to you, man, you I'm not gonna lie to you, I was in awe right now as you said that. I was like, what the? Yeah, you're wild, man. I love it, William. I love it. And he's so simple about it. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. I'm at the crib building. Pacman, talk to me, man. Tell me how you deal with people that are not as tech savvy, man. Is this something that frustrates you? How do you approach it?
I love it. I find every single one of these is an opportunity to change someone's opinion, because a lot of times you have to battle all kinds of things. So I worked in tech support, and I managed call centers for reps that would take tech support calls. So you kind of have to really pay attention to the customer and really what they're asking, and not even the verbal things that they're saying, but what are they not saying? You have to pick up on certain cues, because they get very confused. Everyone is confused about everything. So it's up to us to make sure that we know our stuff and that we can help to onboard people. And I think that's really what I come from a friendly education. I pretend like I'm explaining it to my grandma or, to my dad or my kids, whatever. And every time I'd be on a phone call, sometimes I'd have to take the phone calls too. And, I love talking to the customer. That's really where I just come alive, because you get to fix the problem. So whenever you walk away from that item, it's like, man, that person came in screaming, hollering, whatever it is, this is broken, I hate your services, whatever, right? You get to turn that person around and be like, oh, wow, I can't believe it was just an education thing. And a lot of times we would call that when I was first starting out, we'd call that a PEBCAC error, which means the problem exists between the keyboard and the chair, PEBCAC. So we'd write that on the ticket notes and close it out. But for me, it's just it's a silly name, but it makes you laugh a little bit. And I'm like, yep, no problem. Just another PEBCAC. Education, no problem.
Yo, we've all been a PEBCAC, bro. Get out of here.
Got to start somewhere, right?
Yo, that's great, man. That's great. Fellas, I want to know, and I want to really get into it with Josh, because Josh, man, I know that the way you look at a lot of this stuff, man, is it's unique. It's unique, definitely unique. I want to know what it is that you see that's going on in Web3 right now that we're probably as whether we're collectors or even artists in the space or just observers, what's something that we're really not catching? What's something that you think is coming or that's really going on that we're not catching in any sense, whether it's in the tech sense or more of a tangible sense, man? What's going on that we are not catching? that you feel is something that we should be paying attention to?
Well, look, the community stuff is amazing. This is where it's at, really. But what we're not catching is what's going to come in terms of utility. And by utility, I don't mean from what you're offering as a benefit or a product, inside of Web3. I'm talking about like as an owner of an NFT, as an owner or maker of an IP. So for example, right, we got all these really hot PFPs and NFTs and content that people are sharing on social media or using in YouTube videos or TikToks or whatever, and eventually more exposed in terms of the metaverse. And we should have the supply side controls to do the advertising and sponsorships of those things as well, right? We're still not looking at what are the different ways that directly via the Web3 technology, smart contracts and otherwise, we're going to be able to literally democratize how content monetization from sponsorship advertising to traditional advertising is done. And I think that that's a massive opportunity. The other part that I think is overlooked is in terms of the specification of how granular you can get with the royalty distribution and the streaming of actual money. So you can solve with the flick of a wrist the music business problem of all the centralization and pen and paper internationalization of contracts and just how it makes pennies happen in the current model. You can have it so that eventually Web3 can replace everything with an NFT. So your music, for example, can contain all the samples, all of the owners, all of the contributors, all of the versions, all the remixes, all the variations. And it can be distributing itself to Spotify and Apple and whatever else. And it's also getting paid from those services and streaming the revenue directly through the NFT because the NFT is an actual wallet, right? There's so much shit that we're not even close to talking about on a regular basis right now because this is onboarding season. It's eternal September right now. It's basically us showing people here's a new way to internet, right? And one which you own and control the content and you participate directly in the formation of everything from new companies to new cults to getting rugged the fuck out of your entire life savings. So that's kind of where we're at on that side. There's a lot more coming. NFTs are not defined in any way, shape, or form. In fact, they never will be because an NFT is just a tokenization of something, right? So an NFT is done, right? Like ERC 721, 1155, like all the different ones. Those are solid things that are set in stone, right? Those are the tokenization of the thing. The thing is forever. The thing is how fucking creative can you be? The thing is what do you own? The thing is, what don't we know about yet? So that everything can be tokenized, and that idea is what gives birth to the metaverse. So in the true sense, not in the generic, like, oh, we're like on VR in the metaverse. No, it's like the NFT now provides a bridge between the physical universe and the digital metaverse of our creation. And it really makes tangible and real to many of us, and eventually everyone, and more people. There'll always be deniers and stuff like that. But, we're all going to agree that, like, we now, just like we agree that paper can contain the rights and the provenance of something, now we're all going to agree, like, yo, that ID on that blockchain points to a bunch of files and shit that's mine, and that's going to be a concept that people are going to really, really grasp from a completely different perspective. Because when most people are talking about NFTs, we're talking about investing in a community, growing funds, that kind of stuff. That's cool. That's a whole new thing, right? That's very unique to what's happening at the intersection of crypto and all that. But what technology is behind the NFT and what it could do, it's going to change the face of entertainment and content. It's going to change it all. And, recent movements in Web2 companies are absolutely telling you that. But anyway.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And honestly, that's one of the things that really has me excited about everything, especially coming from being an artist and struggling with a lot of things that they're hard as an independent artist, especially. I've worn many hats. There's lots of ways that I've taken losses that I felt I shouldn't have taken. And I feel that a lot of the technology that I'm seeing develop in front of me that I don't completely understand, just what I do understand from the small bit that I understand of it, it's showing me that there's going to be actual ways of me controlling what I want to control and being in charge of my own career and helping spread that to other people. And what you said right there at the end, Josh, that's what really stands out to me, man. That's what I'm the most excited about. Because like you said, the community, the investing, making money off these projects and things like that are great. But I also feel like that's kind of a big problem too, because it's where I've seen the problems. Because it's just a lot of the typical stuff that we've dealt with just across the world. Because one thing that I see a lot of the attributes of Web3, they're a bigger picture that most people might not be looking at, and I feel like those that understand, like yourself and many people, whether they're listening or here speaking, we know what's coming next, man, and it might be strange to some people, it might be exciting to some people, it might even be scary to some people, but I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it 100%. Before I go on to Pacman and William, I just want to say thank you to everybody that's popping in. I see a lot of friends. I see a lot of new faces. If anybody that's listening in is enjoying this conversation, if you could please retweet the room. Also, my speakers, if you could retweet this room, we can get some more people filled up in here. And in about the next 30 to 45 minutes or so, I want to start bringing some people up to start adding to this conversation and asking any questions they may have. So please, 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 especially if you're a homie, don't hesitate to come up here and request to speak. I'll be bringing you guys up, like I said, in the next 30 to 45 minutes. And I want to get into with William. William, what are you seeing right now, in Web3, whether it's NFTs or a lot of the work that you're doing behind the scenes developing, you develop your own project that maybe a lot of people aren't catching, or something that you're excited about that people are not paying attention to?
Well, yeah, so can you ask that again? Sorry, I wasn't really listening.
No worries, man. I know I didn't ask a cool question for your tech mind, William. So basically, man, I want to know if there's something that you're seeing right now, as a developer, as a coder, as an artist, you wear those three hats and you have the experience of someone that's sold out a project even. Is there something that maybe people aren't realizing or not as excited about yet that you see that's coming in Web3 that you're very excited about?
Well, yeah, to be honest, I am excited for when Ethereum 2.0 is gonna be out, because I really hate Ethereum gas fees. But I'm not sure if they have kicked out, if Ethereum 2.0 is already out, because recently the gas fees has been pretty low.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Pacman, what are you seeing right now in the space, man, that people are probably not catching or that you're excited to see develop?
So I think I'm most excited to see what is possible between a lot of the collabs. So there's going to be a lot of cross-pollination between different types of tech things that you would have never thought have ever gone together before. So I mean, even the one thing with the food, now there's those couple of things for the Bored Ape food, right? Don't they have the Starved Ape or something like that? I know those are things that are just popping up now. I mean, I heard something about like a donut shop too, where it's like you access this, but it's not just that. It's your entire person that goes onto the blockchain. I mean, that's kind of what's coming next, is everything that you do will basically be recorded in time in the blockchain. So essentially, like if you get a tattoo, right, you could potentially have that be recorded, and then whatever happens, you pass and your kid wants to get that tattoo. Well, you bought it as an NFT. Your kid can get that same tattoo and applied to them. They can even have it on their virtual, their avatar for whatever verse that they're in. So I think things like that, and be able to transfer experiences. I mean, I'm very excited to see music events. I'm a big festival goer, love huge festivals with crazy pyrotechnics and everything else you could possibly imagine, right? So I'm a big sucker for that kind of stuff. But imagine when you start to have like the AR layer over top of these spaces, and not just are you joining from live, but you double tap your glasses on the side, and then you can look up and see like the 500,000 or whatever other viewers that are in the stands virtually. So I'm excited to see that, and where we can take the music to the next space. And it not just music, but just experiences, right? That's really what this is about. And we get the ability to facilitate these monstrous creations, and I'm so excited to just be an admin and like connecting with people, and with the mindset and the knowledge of everything that I've had. Like, this is just a super great space and a good time to be alive.
Could you imagine that your ticket also stored then any social media that was attached to that event? Could you imagine if it was actually tied to the access of official tapes of that event that were done by the artist? And now that ticket, which some people collect tickets, and it's a beautiful thing. I mean, I still have my first concert, which is an Alanis Morissette ticket. Really embarrassing. Oh, I hate Canada. But yeah, so imagine that you could always just kind of go back, and even after you're dead, your kids can go and, oh, these are the fucking places that dad went to. And what if that media that you owned inside of that NFT had footage that was always used in different media, or in documentaries, or in different YouTube videos, and you got paid a royalty for them, including your footage, your experienced footage. This is what Web3 can provide, so let's do it.
Yeah, man, I'm totally open to it. I mean, I'm working with a lot of folks. I mean, that's basically the goal. And then you want to be able to set that up in a sustainable way as well, so that way the artist and the community that's with that artist is pulling them up, versus when you look at sometimes the record labels as they are today are more of you're not good enough type of thing, is kind of the attitude that I get. Like, this will never sell. It's real hard to make it, and especially with creative types, like, you got to be gentle with them if you want them to grow, and like, you want them to build with love. And when you're building out of fear, or like trying to make a deadline or whatever that is, like, that's not the world that we want to live in. So we got to leave that behind and just encourage these people. And that goes with exactly what you're saying, those experiences, like, make them tied more together. Yeah, I'm all about it. Let's build.
That's awesome, man. That sounds exciting. A couple of those things that you guys mentioned, the tickets and Pacman, the tattoo thing, like, that's kind of wild. I love to hear stuff like that. I want to ask you guys each about projects, whether you've already worked on a specific type of project, or you have something in line. I kind of want to know what that process is from your perspective, and what it really takes, so people listening could really understand. I know it's very time consuming and very tedious a lot of times when you're developing or you're creating something behind the scenes. And William, I want to go to you first with this question, man. I want to know what your experience was, developing your project, coding it, and also creating the artwork for your project, Dogs Unleashed. If you could just tell us about that process and what your experience was like.
Yeah, so yeah, for my project, it took me a while to actually draw the art. Not that long though. Maybe it took me maybe a month since I was busy developing behind it and also doing the website. And it took me time to do the website. I was coding it in JavaScript and I wanted to code it from scratch. And yeah, I coded it in JavaScript and it turned out pretty cool. But yeah, so I actually generated all the images using a generator. This was my first time, and right now I have already built my own generator, much more advanced. But in the past, I used to use a generator called Hashlips. It's pretty cool. It's coded in JavaScript, but now I have my own one, which is much more advanced. Anyway, so yeah, I generated my NFT and I uploaded to Pinata IPFS, and then I coded a smart contract, and it was a pretty basic one without no whitelist, no nothing. And so yeah, when people mint their NFT, it will get revealed straight away. And yeah, it wasn't that hard though, and I had fun doing it.
That's awesome, man. And I know you said it took you about a month to create the artwork for it. How long did it take you to create like the website and the smart contract?
Yeah, so like, yeah, my website took maybe like 1 or 2 weeks, and it took us in the past. I did not really know how to code. I know only a little bit, but now I know much more. And so the smart contract took maybe about a day or two. And yeah,
Awesome, awesome, man. I love it. I love it. Pac-Man, what's up, man? If you've worked on anything specific, or if maybe you got something lined up that you're currently working on, what was that process like?
I think it's really trying to figure out where you want to be at the end of the day, and then kind of working backwards from there. What can you actually do? And start putting things into buckets and start making it part of your routine. So like me, I'm starting a new job basically, and I'm working for myself, PAX Arcade. Like I'm down there in the bottom. And so it's about just doing what you want that company to do, I guess, or whatever you want that project to do. And then if there's people that come along and help, then they come along and help. But it's, for me, it's important, I think, first to start to organize the chaos, right? And just start to bucketize things. Like if you want to send out, daily inspirational stuff, hey, where are you putting that place? Who's the audience for that? So every action that you have to, or you get to do, you get to choose, like, how do you want that to be displayed? You have to be thinking about the brand. And so I think from where I start is I start generally with the brand, like make sure all the socials are good to go, make sure that I got like my unstoppable domain registered, like all that kind of stuff. And you got to start working on brand and start building whatever that reach is and start bouncing ideas off of like-minded people, right? So that's kind of where I start, and it's like, okay, well, I'm not really sure what I want to do. I just really want to help. And it's like, okay, this idea is sort of changed, but I still have some fundamentals. And it's like, well, if I need help, what can I get rid of, or what is something that I'm okay with it not being perfect, right? Or in my view of what I would think perfect, but I'm okay with it just being a little bit. So is there something that's like a build versus buy? Can you use templates? Are there people that want to help out? Just use their talents. Like what kind of things do you actually need? I'm kind of all over the place. So like PAX Arcade is a whole lot of different things. I kind of started a Web3 label. It's just a random thing. Me and one other guy right now, I got him. I drove out to Arizona just to meet him. And on the way back, that's when I met you, Visual. So like I just drive around, I meet these cool people that are doing things in the NFT spaces and just connect with them. And that's kind of what I'm doing. It's like, well, what all pieces, for me, it's the network first, and like understanding what's out there. And there's so much that's out there, but at the same time, like how can you look at these and like bucketize them? So are there any email apps that are on here? Like what kind of products are available so that way I know what could be built or what I can just reuse. Like some of these things are just like plugins. So like I play Minecraft and you can just download a plugin and it's like, oh, okay, well this already works and I can just configure it a little bit of ways and off you go. It's good enough, but you're able to do that pretty quickly and efficiently. So it's kind of like identifying what you want to do and putting intention behind your actions, right? I think that's kind of where I start. And what's up, William?
Hey, Pacman. Well, what Minecraft are you playing? Do you play?
I have a couple. So I have a modded Minecraft server that I host, and I'm playing Ragnamod 6 right now. That's a questing pack, and it's modded, so it's on Java PC. I host a vanilla server, and then I'm on the Bad Baby Dinos NFT World, as well as the Magic Mushroom Clubhouse MMC. So I'm part of their NFT Worlds as well. So I'm very big on NFT Worlds. Definitely love building in that space. I have a couple people that are willing to. I got like a 12 world plan when we start to get into Minecraft and NFT Worlds.
Yeah, wow, that's cool. I actually have Java and Bedrock, or vanilla, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I have both, so that means I can play on 2 different platforms. So yeah, just send me the IP address and all that stuff. I am mostly using Bedrock since I can't use Java because my graphic card is not strong enough. But I am planning to upgrade it as soon as possible.
Yeah, definitely. I'll invite you over for sure. Do you build on NFT Worlds?
Yeah, I do. I actually trying to make my own. I'm actually trying to make my own server, but I do not know how to turn my own world into a server. But yeah, I am building. So far, I'm building a single player world, and I've created a really nice village by myself.
So I'm like an admin, and I've been hosting Minecraft servers since it came out, and that's what I do just for fun. So I have no problem showing you how to do that. We can take that world. I've done that multiple times, and the cool thing about NFT Worlds is you can teleport in between those 10,000 worlds that were minted. So, and if you get an NFT world, then you can put it on that Web3 blockchain. You mint the world itself, which is like a little postage stamp. So whatever build you end up doing, that's what the people get to go into. And then you get to build games in there too. So that's the fun part. And that's where you get just like whatever you want. So if you want a dog park in there, you could have your metaverse for that as well. And the cool thing that would then come from there is, what if you had the ability to scan your dog, right? And bring them into the metaverse with you. And that's kind of what NFT Worlds is on. They're looking to launch here second quarter. They updated, they're going to have 3D avatars. So you're going to be allowed to do these kind of things and bring them into Minecraft NFT Worlds. So super cool. I'm like really excited to see your dog park in there. I know we haven't got there yet, but that's what I'm already building towards, brother.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I love it. I love it. That's great, man. I love it. I love it. I love it. Josh, what's good, man? What's the project process like for you? What's your mindset when you're getting into it? And just walk us through that.
So like I said at the beginning, I've been building products in digital, since the beginning of time, and products for community. So like the first product was a music community where we were teaching people how to use the DAWs, like Fruity Loops, that's now FL Studio and all that. Now the biggest producers in the world make songs in minutes and don't share their files, but back then we used to have versioning for your files. We used to have streaming audio via Flash. We used to have reviews, the whole SoundCloud thing way before any of this stuff happened. And it was a very concentrated electronic music community that went on to become a record label that debuted artists like deadmau5 and Virtual Riot, Sultan, Savant, and a bunch of really other cool EDM folks. And then I became a manager too of artists. So I approached Web3 from that perspective, like what can this product do for artists? What can it do to change their lives? And the other way I look at it is, this is the time of metaverses. This isn't the time of like, I need to make a website to, connect friends with friends and simple stuff, or put 3,000 engineers behind a search bar. We're here to create brand new worlds, brand new experiences. And my end, there's a lot of different products that we're working on. But the one that I'm most excited about is called Infinity Mint. And what it's meant to do is take the idea of creating, using hash lips or whatever, and turn it into an NFT minter that mints NFT minters. So you can set up your project, you can do PFPs, you can do SVG PFPs, you can do one-of-ones, you can do audio NFTs, you can do whatever NFTs that you as an artist that you're going to need to put into different marketplaces, and all of that. And it's as easy to set up as old MySpace page back in the day. And it's not hosted. It can be hosted, but this is Web3. So you get the NFT has access to your DApp and your package, and then you run that package, customize that package, and when you're ready, you connect that IPFS, you connect that package to IPFS, connect a domain to it, or point whatever you need to point to it, and now you have your, pure unhosted Web3 DApp. It is going to do as much on chain as it can. SVGs can be done on chain, but if it's, you go beyond the blocks, then we use IPFS very intelligently, all this stuff. So that's what I'm most excited about. My mindset is, I want to create all the fucking products for Web3. So I'm calling it Infinity Mint, and we're going to create every NFT product that you can think of, from Creative Commons tied plugins to, interfaces that allow you to easily mint an experience for an audio NFT that actually plays anywhere, instead of like, a player. But anyway, stuff like that, man. I'm excited to see what's coming, and we do have, a lot of this product is very, very close, if not already demoable, and there's some stuff that we're running. But yeah, I just want to make brand new shit and all of it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's awesome. That's awesome, man. And I'm excited to see that development. I know you're very passionate about that, and I'm excited to see what you come up with in these coming months. All right, my people. So listen, I'm going to start bringing some people up. But before that, like I said, please, if you're in the room, please retweet it, mention it to some friends, whoever you think might enjoy this conversation. And I'm going to start bringing people up. But right before that, I want to ask my speakers, my guests, Pacman, William, and Metaverse Josh, I want to ask you 5 quick questions, okay? So if you guys could just get your mics on, because they're just going to be quick questions. It's just going to be pick or choose, okay? Just to have a little fun with it, and you guys tell me which one you prefer over these, okay? So let's go. You guys ready? Good?
Yeah,
all right, let's do this. All right, so quickly, Apple or Android?
Apple.
He said both.
Android.
Android, okay. I'm an Android guy myself. All right, PC, PlayStation, or Xbox?
PlayStation.
All of them.
All day.
PlayStation on this side. All right, wired or wireless?
Wireless.
Yeah, cordless.
Yes, sir. No wires here. Crypto or cash?
Crypto.
Ooh. I love it. All right, last one. Ethereum or Bitcoin?
That's tough.
Ethereum.
I don't know. I think because they're going to have the smart contracts on Bitcoin soon, so I might have to stick with Bitcoin, to be honest. Like,
Okay,
but
okay.
You know that Vitalik was supposed to do that. It didn't happen, so that's why Ethereum happened. We could have this discussion, right?
I think Vitalik's done a lot of things he's not supposed to do, man. That's what that guy does.
He's a good boy.
Yes,
Wait,
sir. Yes, sir.
you're saying Bitcoins can have their own blockchain?
Well, yeah, Bitcoin is already a blockchain, right? But they're going to have the ability to do smart contracts. That's really the why Ethereum happened, was because of smart contracts and being able to pay people through, proof of work and things like that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I
We
love
need
it. I
to
love
reach
it.
compute.
Yo, let's start bringing some people up. I see Bullish patiently waiting. What's good, Bullish?
Wow. Okay. All I gotta say is, oh wow, this is an amazing, awesome space, especially for somebody who sees people who understands computers and doesn't understand computers. And when people who understand computers and way surpass my level of skill, which means just turning on, all I know is the blue screen of death, and I'm trying to avoid that like the plague. Okay, number one. Number two, don't get offended, but this is my way of speaking to people who are extremely intelligent with computers. And I'm not going to do the sound like, when you take your car in and it makes the sound. I'm an old school girl. I came from dial-up, okay? Like, I understand the struggle, and now it's made easier, and it's still hard for me, okay? But I usually say beep boop, because that's all I can do. Beep boop. Like, when you guys are talking about JavaScripts and writing codes and everything like that, I go, is there any hope for Bullish Bish? Like,
Look,
I struggle. Yes.
Let me make it simple for you. Look. A random particle in space can go through your computer, make it blue screen, and there's nothing we can fucking do about it. So don't worry about it. It's all magic. As long as you don't get rugged. Because that kind of carpet nobody wants.
Right. Rug, carpet. Trust me, I'm definitely trying to avoid that. So my questions that I wrote down, but mainly the main concerns and questions come down to safety in Web3. Okay. So I'm into crypto and NFTs, and my main concern is hearing all these stories about, speaking of rugs and rug pulls, and I call it hijacking of wallets, okay? Virtual hijacking of wallets. Now, what is there out there right now that can be done, or what steps that we need to be doing when purchasing our NFTs or trying to prevent them getting picked off? Now, yes, burner wallets, I'm aware, but my thing is, why aren't we, with all this knowledge out there, okay, with all these brilliant minds, excluding the hijackers, those are brilliant minds too, but in a more negative way, because they're doing bad to other people that are really just trying to build their bags, right? Now, why aren't these things coming with some sort of authentication before it leaves your wallet? Some kind of confirmation, like how banks, like, we're trying to avoid
Because
or
it's
get away
early,
from that.
because it's early, and I
Right.
know for a fact that there's a ton of people working on this very thing. Like,
Perfect.
it is absolutely coming. You remember when the SSL cert, or not that, the trusted website badge started to show up on websites, like towards the late 90s, early 2000s. That was like good 7 years in to websites existing, and e-commerce existed for about 3 or 4 years before that. So the trusted thing that was important, and it's going to come to this, right? One of the biggest things that you can do to avoid getting fucking rugged is don't mint random ass shit. Period. I don't give a shit if it's cool, like, until you figure out like who these people are, what they're up to. Go check to see if CoffeeZilla's done some shit on them on YouTube. Like, do some real research Like, don't mint random shit, or have a wallet. Like the burner wallet's cool, but maybe the fucking damage is in the NFT. You don't know.
Right, and that's the main concern as well, right? So let's
Right.
just say it's like a sleeper, right? And it's saying, okay, it's already pre-programmed to say, hey, wait until it has accumulated, let's just say 10K or like $5,000, minimum 5,000, and then it wipes it. Well, I've heard some people say, oh, well, it said just pay the gas fee and free 2 mints. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And that's why I'm like always caution. Now another thing is the trackability. So like when you're saying do your own research, and I hear that. Now the key thing is I actually asked some of the people in the pod about a project, which is good because I always ask for people who a second opinion and an eye. So I call slow-mo the FOMO, right? Don't FOMO fast, slow-mo the FOMO. Have your checklist. Make sure that you're crossing your T's and dotting your I's. It's very important, and I agree with you. Stop buying shit, right? Don't look into who the team is, everything else like that. So from this one little not an experiment, but like from the red flag that was thrown up on this one, they're like, did you check any transactions? Are they connected? Are they verified through OpenSea? Like small little things like this is also important to know. So like Bull is just learning all the time. I'm trying to get not all the alpha, but
I
learn.
sat on the alpha for the Crypto Cannabis Club, like literally before mint. A friend of mine sent me they're going to do this. You should attach. I have another decorative cannabis idea that I'm doing. He's like, you should attach yourself to this. And I just got this NFT on the secondary because I didn't know who the fuck these people were. I needed to find out who they were, what they were doing, because like if I'm going to attach my name, my products and my projects and my intellect and my whatever to these communities, right? I've become a part of this community. And that's all important. Now in terms of like sleeper code and stuff like that, like there's viruses, all that. There are folks out here like Rug Doctor, for example, that and other communities that are dedicated wholesale to reviewing smart contracts for people. So you can either go to check to see if that project is listed on these types of websites and projects and communities, and even join their DAO and support them and contribute to that shit. Or you could just post a link to the sus project that you want to get verified and bring it faster. Then your phone will get you to getting your wallets wiped, like when you're fucking loaded 10 years later.
So here's another question. So I was in a space and the guy seemed pretty brilliant, for me anyways. Like he was spitting pure knowledge, alpha, speaking mad beep boop, okay? So, and I asked the question, and the question was, should I be moving my stuff onto a cold storage wallet? And he's like, hell no. And I was like, what? And everybody was like probably saying, what? And the key reason why, he's like, well, you know what, most of the stuff is made in China. You don't know if somebody is getting paid to corrupt a small amount of hard wallets, even if it's coming right directly from the manufacturer. So he basically said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to filter it through this way and move it here and this and that. Like basically he can do all of this himself. And then he basically did beep boop computer Fort Knox for his own self. Like he knows how to layer this and that. And I was like, yeah, that's not happening for me. So I'll stick to.
But it totally can, because these packages are available for anyone to go get and enable any device that they have confidence in, to turn that into a wallet. But look, at the end of the day, your iPhones and your Androids and all that stuff are also made in China and fucking or whatever. Like this
Right.
this whole idea is a little far fetched because frankly, folks do look at these devices and tear them to shreds and literally analyze what it is that it does. And when it comes to these hardware wallets, transparency is like key on it because people understand fundamentally the simplicity that's necessary for this type of encrypted device to work, right? It's just that like it takes a lot of money to set up the security infrastructure within that company to do this right, and that's why it is a corporation and they source it's really hard to decentralize ledger for now because they use sorts of different materials and all that stuff, which until the president gets elected via Web3, like we're not we're not gonna go away.
So do you use a cold storage wallet?
Oh, absolutely. Several.
I want to make sure. Yeah. I'm sure that it looks like a crazy key.
At the end
so what
of the
do you
day,
use?
What that means, I've used Trezor. I used Ledger. The new ones, not before the hack, because there was an incident where hackers acquired the addresses of Ledger users and sent them replacement things that were hacked, and that is the paranoia there.
Correct.
Like that stuff. If you didn't buy it, like if you didn't expect it, like that kind of stuff, yeah, like super sus. And eventually you're going to go to trade shows where people are like, oh yeah, here's your free crypto wallet. Like eventually people will get that stupid and try to spend money on that. But anyway, yeah, have some confidence in those things, and it really is about unplugging it. Like once it's unplugged, the access to those blocks are unfuckable, right? Unless somebody knocks you over the head, and that's really important, So that still exists. The whole hard wallet does make it easier for folks to knock you over the head and walk away with your shit. You don't have that security that you're paying somebody either with your data or with something in Web 2.3 wallet application like that.
That's what's
Thank
up,
you
man.
for answering.
Josh, thank you, man. That's awesome. Love that insight right there. I was kind of worried about Ledger and Trezor sometimes too, man, thinking about it. So I appreciate that feedback. I'll definitely take your insight into consideration, man. I see we got Sim Token. What's up?
Yeah, how's it going, guys? Hope everyone's having a good night. Yeah, I just wanted to elaborate on that in regards to, just make sure if you're buying, a cold storage wallet that you're obviously getting it from the manufacturer and that, it's sealed and that you're not buying it from a third-party source, especially if you're at a trade show or a crypto event or wherever you may be. Don't buy it on your online, Craigslist or whatever, secondhand and none of that stuff, because it's not saying that something that's sealed won't be corrupted, because nothing's impossible. Like, scammers are getting really good and hackers are getting better by the day, right, as technology is advancing. So we just gotta, you just gotta look out for the key elements and make sure that you do as best as you can to not slip up with some small mistake by not checking one thing, right? And with people that are new, they don't know what to look for, and that's what we want to do, is we want to educate people that don't know on what to look for and what to be aware of and stuff like that to be safe. Excuse me. So yeah, but yeah, I would definitely, my recommendation is like who was speaking, I think it was Wizard, right? I believe. Anytime you have like USB cold storage, if it's not connected, right, you have nothing to worry about. The only thing you got to worry about is if you're going to lose, your seed phrases, or if you're going to lose the physical ledger. If you lose the ledger, well, you're kind of, and store everything, in areas that can't flood, can't burn, and you know where it is, and it's, as safe as possibly can be, because you'd be surprised how many people say, oh, I know where it is, and and then they put in a good spot, but unfortunately there's places in the world that have natural disasters, and something unfortunate happens, and their ledger gets either destroyed, or it vanishes because of water or fire or whatever the case is, right? So those are little things that we can do as consumers of the products and so on, to ensure safety, and that we're as good as possible, I guess. So
That's awesome. That's awesome, Sin. Thank you, man. Appreciate that insight. Jameson, what's good?
Visual, man. Good to see you guys. Pacman, Wizard, William, all y'all. Thank you guys for this awesome space. I just want to step up and say that first off, and thank you guys for taking time out of your evening for all of us that are here.
Of course, man. What's good? You got a question for anybody, or some insight on something?
Yeah, so like kind of a question, but also just I love the vibes of everything, just all the different places and spaces that everyone here comes from. I think it's so cool because it's awesome to see how everything's integrating together, like the music, the gaming, everything, your wallets. I wish, I'm so grateful for everything that I do know, because I try to educate myself as much as I can, but I just wish that I did grow up learning coding, like William, being able to just pick up on everything at such a young age. Pac-Man, you talk about building computers, all this like awesome stuff. Wizard, you talk about like just being enveloped with it, with all this stuff your whole life, and just the music and everything. I mean, it's, that's the things I wish that I had the technology in my face more growing up, and I didn't, but I do have a lot of that IRL world going on, where I can see where everything is coming together, and it's beautiful, because I'm trying to onboard the world. Like I think that's all of our goals, right? Onboard. And the integration of, like, one thing that we miss sometimes, I think, when we get so enveloped into Web3, is that there is still Web 1 and Web 2, like where you get like that all needs to be integrated together, because that integration of bringing all of it together is just awesome. So, like Bullish, you were talking on the, I guess that centralization of the decentralization per se, and there's a lot of that going on. I know I love my ledger. I love my cold storage. That's how I started. I have MetaMask. I have all my different wallets for different things. But if you guys are looking for some security too, little alpha here, like crypto.com, they have an awesome app that is actually connected with banks and credit unions in the U.S., different countries too, all around the world. They have an actual debit card that you can get and to offboard your crypto, all different kinds, and you can use it all around the world and earn crypto back. So that is some beautiful things of seeing Web 2 banking, all of that stuff integrate together, and it's a wonderful, I know I use it a lot. I use my card a lot. I love it. It's a wonderful way to earn crypto with your crypto, and be able to actually spend it without having to wait 3 to 5 days to move it to your bank. You can move it to your card in a few seconds and be swiping it for whatever you want. So all of that stuff is just so amazing to see come into light. And like, I don't even use my bank anymore. I'm thankful for 10-day grace periods, because when I do have to send it over, it takes 3 to 5 days. So yeah, thank the Lord for that. Yeah.
You know what I say? I say, let it die, let it die, let it wither up and die. Fuck Web 1 and fuck Web 2. We got to change the whole thing. That's what I'm saying. Banking, law.
Josh, man. Josh coming into Web3, just thugging it. I love it. Pete, good. What's on your mind?
What's good, everyone? Great conversation. But I wanted to know, like, what do you guys think about the first initial projects for a lot of people? Like, is it to write their own smart contract? Is it to team up with a developer? Like what's your advice for people who are just trying to mint out something, either a one-on-one or a small collection?
So if you're just trying to do one piece of art or one piece of music, right? That's what you're talking about, just doing one NFT, like your very first one.
Yeah, something like that. Because I did it on Foundation, and I'm not really even trying to make myself out of an example. I'm just interested in like how to do it, but I minted one on Foundation.
Yeah, well, I mean, the first thing I would look at is that as the artist, look at there's different marketplaces that are out there. And you can look for different marketplaces on how, what kind of collections are there, what are you bringing to that space, what is that space bringing to you. Like, there's things that you can look at, so it's your choice to pick a marketplace. There's tons of them out there. OpenSea is just one marketplace, right? And there's plenty of other ones that are out there. But if it's your first one, you can look at also what funds do you have available to get yourself started, right? If you want to kind of stay with the Ethereum side, that's cool. But then there's the gas fees when you're first doing a mint. Or you can look at something like a Polygon, and right on OpenSea, you can mint to Polygon for free. So you can look at doing things like that if you're just trying things out. Look for those types of options. Sit in other spaces where there's artists that are out there, and look for those types of things. I know there's one space that I'm in, and we do it every night at 10:30 Eastern. It's by Human Z, and all we do is we onboard artists, and we have a group of artists that come in every night, and we talk about the different art, the different platforms. We're on basically every one that's out there. Every marketplace that comes, we have somebody who's testing it out in that space. Bullish has attended it a couple times. I mean, it's a pretty good space. I love when she comes over and starts talking to. So, I mean, do your research, that kind of stuff, and find a place that works for you, and I'd start there.
I think the community that's going to be a part of you and you a part of it is going to point you to those marketplaces too, right? So when you look at the subject matter, are there already folks like the Cannabis Club, right? Already are up these kinds of venues, these kinds of places that are receptive to what it is your NFT is representing as a token. But yeah, it is finding that marketplace. That's what marketplaces' jobs are, is to go and find a market to place in. It's not that it's a website that you list stuff at. I think that gets lost in a lot of the getting stuff done quick. But that's okay too, because it's about you discovering, you finding your journey, you figuring out what it is that's best for you and your content presenting.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bullish, what up?
Okay, first and foremost, Josh, I adore you a lot, but I didn't appreciate the Canadian reference, so you owe me one. Number one. Number two, William, are you not tired from hanging upside down? And Sawadi Ka. Number three, here's another thing. My niece, she plays Minecraft, so I watch them. I see it. I don't understand fully. They try and they're like, oh God, Auntie, give up now, please. You're hurting my brain. I get it. I apologize in advance. I still love them a lot. They still love me, thank goodness, because I got money. But all round, and I'll go toss them a couple of NFTs, and I'm gonna onboard them at some point, but like without my sister knowing, because that would be cool. Yeah. But my niece knows what an NFT is. She's like, oh, non-fungible token. I was like, did you just say that? And she's like, oh, okay, look what I can do. I'm gonna do this sketch, I'm gonna put it in my computer, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna send it to you. I'm like, okay, now I gotta mint this because this is awesome. Like, like my niece is, I just saw her do this from here. Now the thing is, I would like to see more of, and I'm sure the educational system doesn't want to educate children quite yet into what William's even doing, and why is that? I had I'm talking to somebody, and I'm very passionate about change. So I see potential. I had an opportunity to say, hey, this guy in Chicago's doing this big thing. I said, you know what? I hear, people ask, what kind of charity are you going to give? How much money is coming back out of the project into? I said, listen, I was in Chicago at the time, and I'm like, listen, how about this? How about you propose a hiring and finding a center, finding somewhere it's not too expensive, and literally find like those gems, the diamond in the roughs, but still know great fundamentals, and have them be mentors and teach code, and set up in the inner cities or the middle to lower income, no matter what color you are, no matter whatever, the opportunity, and to educate without having to put all those dollar signs in there, and then it's bringing also the mentorship. And I think that's key, because people need people to look up to. I will say this, unfortunately, there are some minuses of certain parents. Sometimes the mother's at work all the time, sometimes dad's not there, or whatever the case is. There's a lot of kids with that little bit of buffer and that time that, like they could be gaming, they could be coding, they could be learning something, they could be, more involved and more interactive. I mean, I just wanted to put that in there, because anybody who's listening that is doing a project, please kind of consider something like this. Let's try to start the movement. We're in Web3. This is a big opportunity, and I love animals too, and I want to clean up the environment, although our future is these children like William. And like, I've been to Thailand, and don't worry, I'm going to be on the beach with you eating soon there, William, so be careful, be very careful.
Yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to tell you, everything you just said is exactly what CYM token is. Like, we've came up with the concept to help educate the youth. We're building our own cartoon that's going to air on live TV. We're building an academy. We're building our NFT marketplace collection that's going to be super encrypted, secure. It's going to make OpenSea basically look like a baby fish. So yeah, it's exactly what you're looking for is exactly what we're.
You should hire her.
Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely
hire.
looking. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a free agent, baby.
Let's go. Awesome. Well.
Oh, I don't know what happened there. That's what's up. Thank you, Bullish. I'm going to wrap this up really quick in the next minute. I just want to get some final words from Pacman, and I want to get some final words from William and Josh as well as we sign off here. So, gentlemen, just help yourself, man. Pop right in, give us some final words, and let's wrap this thing up.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me in the space. This was a great talk. I appreciate every single one of you. And, just looking at the future, just be mindful of others. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Be mindful of your own actions. And as long as you're doing the best you can every day, you're showing up and just trying. That's really what matters. And you're doing a good job. I'm proud of you for making it this far. We're going to wake up tomorrow and do it all over again. But keep building better, right? So, yeah, that's what I have. Thanks, Visual. I appreciate you for having me here, man.
100%, homie. You know what it is. William, what's up, man? You got some final words for everybody?
Well, yeah, and Visual, thank you so much for the come and add so much fun.
Thank you, William. It's always my pleasure having you on, my friend. Josh, what's good? Give us some final words.
Room, I'm playing Minecraft. For real. No, thanks for having me on. Really appreciate the space to come in and just sling some shit about what's possible and what's coming. And I hope that everybody, learned something. And, I want to just say one thing that's very important for you to take away, and that's that Canada sucks. Don't go there.
Be careful. Don't come here then. No poutine for you. That's it, Josh. That's it. Me and you are not friends. I would like to say, please have another space like this. And Josh, that was not nice. I'm gonna get you when I get to Chicago. By the way, I still owe you a lunch, dinner, whatever. But um, yeah, I got Krispy Kremes to deliver for Mr. Cezanne. I don't know how fresh they're gonna be, but anyways, you know what? I will say this was an excellent, excellent space. I think it's very needed, and who knows? It should be like maybe once a month. Ask a dev, or I really appreciate everybody, Pacman, William, everybody, like Josh. Even though he doesn't like Canadians, but he does. He really does. He has a soft spot for me. He just ain't saying it yet because it's a recorded space. Just saying.
That's all good.
That's what's up. That's what's up. But definitely appreciate you guys, Pac-Man, William, Josh, everybody that came up, gave some insight, and everybody listening. Appreciate you. Like I said, I saw a bunch of homies here, seeing some more homies pop in now. Next week, I want to make everybody aware we are having a music NFT initiative. I'm gonna be having artists all through the month on every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central. We're gonna be having artists that are not experienced in NFTs to artists that have put out music as NFTs, and we're also gonna be having platforms that either allow you to mint songs, allow you to make splits with other creators that you're doing projects with, that allow you to create Web3 websites. Different insight from platforms to artists to experience to non-experience, to get different types of conversations going so we can start learning and obviously getting into the game that we want to get into, especially as artists. I'm a music artist myself. It's one of the biggest reasons why I got into the space, and I'm very excited to be part of that process and hosting everybody and having these conversations with them. And I'll also be releasing my first NFT music project next month as well, so I'm excited to have you guys check that out. And on that note, until next time, peace, blessings, hundreds of lessons.